Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. Welcome to Avatar The Last Podcasters. I just blanked on our name there for a minute, and this episode's bound to be full of shenanigans because before I hit the record button, there were zero shenanigans whatsoever. No tangents, no talk. I saved it all up for right now when I asked Chris, how you doing? What have you been up to?
I got a new hobby. This new hobby is archery.
Nice.
Yeah,
For real.
because my wife asked me to get the kids. Their birthdays were in August, two of the three. Asked me to get them like an archery set, and I was like, an archery set. I was like, you sure they're fine to do archery and stuff? I
Not
mean, one is,
alone, but
oh yeah, yeah. So then a bow and arrow has always been something I've never shot a bow and arrow before, but it's always been something that I wanted to shoot. And so like I tested out and stuff because I gotta know how to do it myself before teaching someone else how to do it. And mostly it's been me using it and stuff.
fair enough.
Like I have, and like it's so fun, just terrible at first. Like I'm like, oh well, I've seen people shoot bow and arrows before. It's like this, and it's just like no, like I was completely bad first doing it because I have no. The more goes into it than just grabbing an arrow and
Sure,
pulling.
sure.
Um, but slowly and surely, I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to hold it like that. I'm supposed to hold it like this. Oh, supposed to place the arrow. Well, supposed to put the arrow on this side, not necessarily that side. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but there's kind of a more right answer. People, and now I'm watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos about archery and stuff. Um, so yeah, and I've had to buy more arrows because arrows get lost pretty easily just in my backyard because it is just very easy to lose arrows.
Is there anything in your backyard where like if you overshoot that you're gonna like hit another house or
No, so my my backyard, I have the lot. My property is two lots, and so I have the lot behind my house, and so it's a pretty long distance. Like I typically shoot from my deck, and there's this birdhouse that no birds live in, and I know for sure no birds live in it.
not
It's a
anymore?
birdhouse that came. It's a pretty big. It's like a bird hotel almost. Like it's like six doors, six holes and stuff. It's probably 2.5 by 2.5 cubic. Sorry, 2.5 cubic feet. Um,
Yeah, but if there's a shared shower, then it's actually a bird hostel, Chris. It's a bird
mm,
hostel. I
sure.
actually don't know what the
But
rule is. I'm just making that up. Sounded
no
good.
birds living. To my dismay, like even before I ever got there, I was like, man, no birds live in there. Like I have two huge bird houses. So remember when we bought the house, my real estate agent was like, all right, we'll put this in the, because she makes a list of things that has to stay with the house, and then she put bird houses. I was like, I don't give a crap about those bird houses. Uh, like, who cares about these old bird houses? And one thing, and I look up at them, like, no birds even live there. Like, these are great houses. Why aren't birds living in there? Squirrels can't get to it or anything. So anyway, there's this birdhouse that's a pretty good target. That's about 50 feet away, and I don't know what a good shooting range is like for beginners.
I don't either. I got no idea.
Yeah, but it's about 50 feet away. And it's like it's on a freaking pole that's about probably 20 feet high, maybe 15, 20 feet high. And so I aim at that. It's like a metal birdhouse, but oh man, the sound it makes when a freaking arrow pierces it. And right now I got like two arrows that's just like stuck in there. But
Well, I know why the birds aren't going to live in there now.
oh yeah, now yeah, no, those.
The birds fly by like, is this a
Uh,
good neighborhood? And there's just arrows sticking out of the house. And like, no, this bad. It's a bad area.
but but because one thing I'm using a bow that's like for 18 to 14 years old. it it's not like you can measure poundage in bows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably 25 or so pounds of like it's
Force
not
to
that much.
pull it.
Yeah, yeah. And so like the farthest it shoots is probably 10 feet from my fence on the back side of the house, on the other side of the street, and and then beyond that fence, there's another probably 15 feet of grass, and so there's as long as I'm shooting straight, there's not going to come into contact with anyone's or come close to anyone's house.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
But it is really cool when I got to go pick up the arrows. It just looks like a freaking old battlefield. There's just like a bunch of arrows just in the ground, lodged. It's like walking on a battlefield. That battle just over, and there's just I don't know.
that's awesome. I mean, it sounds like fun. I would immediately do exactly what it is you're doing, even though I still have to question where your wife got the idea.
I don't know.
Like she's just
I
like, I
don't
want
know.
the kids to shoot stuff, but guns is too far. But but airsoft is not far enough. I need something in between. Oh,
But I've been the one out like I go out there probably twice a day the last couple of days, especially now that like because I figured out my good way of shooting the bow. First, when I first started, I would hold the bow and I'll take one thing most actual archers don't. A lot of archers don't put their quiver on their back; they just put it on their waist. And then
sure.
I did realize like it's way easier to get a bow from your waist than it is from your back because you can't even see it and it might be moving around and stuff. But I would get the bow and I would put it on the right side of the bow, and then I would hold it with my finger. Like I'll put the arrow on the bow. The arrow would go on the right side of the bow, and I would hold the end of the bow. Like I'll grip it with my finger and index, with my thumb and my index finger, pull back. But that was like I couldn't pull back as far. It's kind of hard to do that, and also your thumb kind of starts to hurt.
Sure.
But what I was supposed to do is put the arrow on the bow and pull the string back. Like you're pulling. I didn't realize that they weren't pulling. Some archers pull the arrow back, but a lot of them pull the string back, and the arrow is on the string. And you let go of the string.
Why do you suppose
I
that
thought,
is?
um,
It feels like you'd want to pull the arrow back. I don't know why it does. It just feels like you would.
um, I don't know. I mean, from when I can only speak. I don't know the historical significance of it. Um, Although a lot of people say that like that type of style of holding the arrow is more in line with like Asian archers, like Japan and China and stuff. A lot of them are more so holding the actual arrow rather than the arrow sitting on the string, and then they're just pulling back the string. For me, it's a lot easier to pull the string back when I'm pulling the string rather than trying to grip and hold onto the arrow because it's just like there's just more tension there. Way easier to pull back the string itself.
But something about letting go, like this, feels better to me than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. It
Like
probably is a
what? Yeah.
yeah,
Huh. Well, now I think
but
it. Obviously I have to try it. Now we have to undertake this. My
it's
my
pretty.
my backyard goes downhill a little bit, right? So as long as I'm shooting downhill, I can't. It can't hurt anybody.
Yeah. I mean, the bow I bought was like a $30-$40 bow set. Came with 8 arrows. That's all you need.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
gonna go that far. Maybe I'll. But is it? I don't know if it's legal or not to aim at squirrels, but they are pests and they eat Heather's
I
top
don't know.
berries.
I don't know either, but I've been trying to. I've, listen, I think we've had this conversation before about me shooting squirrels with. I had a slingshot.
Uh-huh.
It
We've
it
we've
phases them. It
discussed the
does.
various manners
I
in
mean,
which we've tried to dispose of animals in our yard.
oh yeah,
Yes, we have.
yeah.
That's listen. If honestly, when Charlie was younger, he can't catch squirrels. Like squirrels are fast and wily, but like I have knowingly turned Charlie loose in the backyard, having like seen other critters, and they're like, they'll either leave or he'll get them, and then I don't feel bad because it's exercise for him. He did it. I
Yeah,
didn't do it.
if anyone wants to know, a slingshot. Sorry, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Nope, I'm done. Just Charlie is
Oh,
my murder weapon.
if anyone wants to know, a slingshot and like the pellet on a slingshot, full back hitting a squirrel does not. It does hurt them. It phases them.
Sure,
But
sure.
they're like, I got one really good one. Like one was crawling on the tree, and I hit its side, and it was like, and then like
You
I
knocked
could
the wind out
tell.
of it. You broke his.
I think yeah.
You hit him so hard he let go of his nuts. It's like a David Letterman
Yeah.
caliber monologue joke.
But no, and even now I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure if I actually hit a squirrel with an arrow, it's gonna kill the squirrel. Do I want to even deal with
Surely it will
that?
pierce it, right?
Oh, it'll definitely pierce. Like I said,
Yeah.
the birdhouse that I shoot at, it's made up of metal, and yeah, it like I have two arrows that are just stuck in there because it just pierces. That makes a great noise. Like it just like anyway.
This
But
this is a weird concept to think about, but I often when I'm playing D&D, I think to myself like there's not enough benefit of a crossbow over a bow and arrow, right? Like
yeah,
if you ever just stopped and think like, and I'm sure people get and there's exceptions or whatever, but like I can't imagine that this I know you could be worse at that, but that could be like slower and less effective than like placing it in a crossbow and holding it and then aiming it. Like I don't know,
yeah.
crossbows.
I recently came across a video that was like crossbows are absolutely worse than bow and arrows because like the
Yeah.
ones with actual force to like crank it back, you got to
Yeah.
like put it down and like pull up on it, and then put the bow or whatever in there. While bow and arrow, that's just
It's just
you know
I
just
understand a bow and arrow
boom.
is like bigger and bulkier, but also it's not heavy. Just anyway, just
Yeah,
something I think about in D&D all the time. Like in principle, in D&D, crossbow is a fine weapon, and there's feats that support it, make you good at it. But I won't use it like in principle. I was like, nope, straight archer, can't do it. I was an ancient, like an old bird person, and it was a long shot. What do I want? Yeah, I was a long shot specialist, and it was a lot of fun. Different campaign. Uh, Chris, Switch 2 stuff is starting to leak out more, and I'm getting very excited. There's some pictures yesterday of Switch 2. Pictures or renderings. I didn't even take that good of a look. And there's just more and more chatter, nothing confirmed, that like next March or April would parallel how they did the Switch 1. And the specs look good, and I'm excited. That's all I have to say about it. I'm just excited. What's that?
1 second.
Oh, your microphone. Did you switch your microphone? It might be coming through your phone now.
It is coming through my phone, but wait a minute.
Yep, you
I hit a
definitely changed
button.
microphones.
1 second.
Not that it's bad.
1 second, you can hear me singing random things.
Chris gonna break it down for you right now with some smooth
Dang it.
stylings of
Wait,
Chris Ford. There you go.
can you hear me
Yep,
through? Yes, okay.
that's the
Sounds
right one.
better. Okay.
Yeah, I mean your phone is great, but this is still clearly a dedicated microphone. But
Okay, good.
yeah, Switch 2, hopefully coming soon. Very excited.
Oh yeah. But if I ever before we were switching to the Switch, if I go farther in my archery hobby, I'm gonna keep it simple with the one string. Some people like compound bows.
Hmm?
I'm like, nah, I gotta be like one string, like a fantasy type of setting novel. I don't want no compound stuff, and then you got all the rigmarole and stuff on there. But anyway,
Right, he wanted to like match this image. Like the reason that a bow and arrow is attractive to us, for example, is probably Link. Right, I think that's a fair inspiration. Link doesn't shoot compound bows.
yeah.
I will admit that I
All
have always wanted to. I grew up on a farm, and it just feels like something that people do, but I never did, and I want to. Is people go fishing with bows? They'll go bow fishing, or essentially It's a
That seems
it's an arrow, but then there's like a little reel, and the arrow's on the string. I think that looks really hard, but also a lot of fun. So someday I want to go bow fishing. Be the peak of my
yeah.
archery leeching of your hobby,
No.
leeching off your children.
Connecting it to Avatar while I'm out there, I'm like, oh man, Avatar needs more archers. And then I was
It
like, you're
does.
stupid, Chris. There's the
There's a
Union
whole
archers, and then
group of them.
and then there's Longshot. But I was thinking that like man, Airbenders would be really good archers, but also it would go against their philosophy. Like the bow and arrow is like the most revolutionary weapon probably in human history.
It would go against air nomad policy or
Yeah.
philosophy, but post. I keep wanting to call it post calamity. What's it called? Post convergence airbenders. Like those people, those airbenders aren't bound to air nomad. They could let them be
Is
awesome.
that? Yeah.
They'd be the best archers.
It looked like it's just and then just the arrow goes farther.
It'd be like that scene in Space Jam where Bugs uses the magnet to get the ball to go
Yeah.
down the hole in golf. It'd be exactly like that, but with arrows and airbenders.
Or they can direct it.
That
Like they can like curve the arrow.
wanted style.
Exactly. I don't care how illogical it is. But it also made me think of a weapon that Kitsune would possibly use. I drew on there these big huge like gauntlets, if you will. But like imagine if like you could airbend into this gauntlet and a dart would fly out. So like he would take out and like put on the end of the dart like shearshoe venom or some type of thing that he derived to knock people out. And then like to the underworld people, they're like, oh, and this great spirit like puts their hand up, and then next thing you know, he puts you to sleep. And I was like, no, he just shoots. He blasts air into this gauntlet configuration that he built that then shoots out the dart. But,
So I'm not disputing your idea. I'm jumping off of it because I'm getting ideas
yeah.
of
Okay.
he's the avatar. There is no reason that he couldn't like. Especially, I keep thinking of water, like really thin slivers of ice as bullets, which we've kind of seen before. Like he's the avatar. He could use water bending and air bending together, and he doesn't. He doesn't need much else, right? Like he can send a little ice needle for. I don't know. We could determine a reasonable distance that he could bend an ice needle with a
Yeah.
good water bend plus air bend. Uh,
Yeah.
like he might not even need to engineer. Although
Then
I like the
then
sheer
you
shoe
have
venom though. That sounds kind of cool.
well if you just have like I don't know a little pocket of shearshoe venom like in it, right? So then
Yeah,
he can just conjure up the ice really,
and
which is
then
another out of thin air, and then just like the tip of the sickle, you dip in the venom pouch.
and think of it from like an assassin standpoint. If you shot ice, I think they did this on MythBusters, but they did it with bullets, and the force of the gunpowder always broke the bullets. We don't have to worry about that because bending. But he could assassinate somebody with like an ice needle, and then it would melt.
Exactly.
That
That the thing is, I was stuck on this idea of like, well, if there's darts, then darts would be left behind, and then people would be like, I don't think it was nothing. I think I got hit by
I think it's the
this dart
stick
thing.
sticking out of his neck.
Yeah, but if it's an ice needle, it just melts, and it's just like, well, what the heck?
So you
I
could
woke up.
see you
I
could see
got
a puncture wound, but it would maybe feel more like a stab or something, right?
yeah.
And then they'd be like, "Well, stabbed with what?" And then why did they come? And there's something to that. I think there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is. That's useful kitsune assassination weaponry. I'll have to watch that episode of
Exactly.
MythBusters again too. I think that they struggled to make anything good happen, but it was I'm pretty sure it's just because the gunpowder always broke the ice, basically, which
Mm.
makes sense. Chris, let's talk about. I didn't even introduce what we were talking about today. What's the thing? The Netflix event was today. And so Chris has some
Yes.
news to relay, and then a trailer that we're gonna watch. And I haven't watched it yet, so it'll be my fresh take.
Ooh, let's watch the trailer first because that's how I experience. I watch the trailer first,
Okay,
and then yeah.
I've got it pulled up.
Uh,
It's 58 seconds. You got to pull it up with just three, two, one, and live react.
yes, yes, yes. Or you can go. It's pretty short.
Okay.
It is the definition of teaser.
Okay. I mean, the title is literally just now in production. Like, all right, there's a limited amount that they can do with that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play it then, and you'll probably hear some of the speaker noise come through.
Sounds good.
It's good looking dirt.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, good looking dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sound design. It's
What's so far? Yeah, it's pretty much that's 1,000% teaser definition right there. But it works, so it's got me hype already.
yeah, yeah. She's doing the feet movement.
The foot thing.
As you see, that's tough. Although I'm gonna be the one to be like that foot movement usually comes from the middle to the outside. I came from the outside to the middle, or I'm just completely overthinking it, and and maybe I might be wrong. But yeah, so
And well, being a teaser trailer, like that could be a non-presence. You know, they could get it right, or they could not care. And maybe we are overthinking it. I don't know.
it's like one thing I could be wrong in the sense that I could be right in the sense that that move Toph does is always done like that. Like imagine these are her feet, it goes like that.
Sure.
Again, this is the nitpickiest of the nitpicks. But the trailer had to come in like
if there was a thing below nitpicks, if there was, there's not. It's a half pick.
Yeah. Or it could be that praying mantis style uses both of that, and the show is only ever shown that way. Again, nitpickiest thing. I'm just glad that it's there because it's clearly Toph. Toph's the only one that bends like that. Like seeing the bare feet, because that's a Toph trademark, and that little move. It is for a teaser. It did hype me up.
As I say, I really don't have anything to even react to other than like, hey, there's Toph's feet. Great. That's great. Good. Let's go. It's alive. It's alive, and they're doing things, and that's good. So that there's not really much else to react to.
Yeah.
But great.
So, but I was thinking when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe they'll announce Toph. And then, of course, they immediately announced the casting for Toph Bei Fong. So I'm gonna build up a little bit.
What's the Netflix thing called? And did they do this at the Netflix thing?
Yeah, it's called Netflix Geeked.
Geeked. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Geeked. That's in a past tense, or like no. I guess geeked would be
geeked out. That's past tense. Yeah.
Geeked, but if I say, "Oh, I'm geeked," that would be present tense. Even though
geeked, that would be. Well, if I am geeked, it would be an adjective, not a verb. I geeked out. True. That would be a past tense verb.
True.
Okay. Are either of those really words? Either way, it was this week. It was I said September 16th.
Yes. So they announced that they were doing open casting call for Toph, which I knew that meant they're going to cast someone with experience. Even though they say open casting call, they're probably going to cast someone with experience because that's what they do.
Sure.
Also, they said that they're open to casting actresses who are vision impaired, so like that. We
talked about that.
Great.
We talked about that casting call, that little snip, the blurb.
Yeah. And also, they said they were casting the character of Toph. They were casting specifically the character of Toph as mid to late teens, I think is what they said, which bothered me. I don't need to get back into it. Whatever.
Go watch how much it bothered him.
So with all that said,
it it
Uh,
bothers me a little bit, but not a lot.
yeah. With all that being said, they cast a pretty experienced actress. Her name is Maya Chick. She has pretty good, a
Credentials?
pretty, yeah, pretty good credentials. She's always been someone who has been like fan casted as Toph. I think I've even not in any of my videos, but just in my head, like, oh yeah, she looks like she could play Toph. She is 17 years old. Apparently, she was born in Tokyo, Japan. She's been in shows and films like Rim of the World, The Darkest Mind, Surfside Girls. Just she's been in plenty of stuff. But I will say, like the roles that and I've seen trailers and stuff of her even before her casting was announced. The roles that she typically get, I think, are kind of those tough character types of like, oh, this tough girl, and so yeah, I'm pretty sure she can play the role of Toph. Um, one trailer that I think really one movie trailer I think really kind of exudes what she can do as Toph is so I encourage people to go watch the trailer for Marvelous in the Black Hole. It's kind of about this young girl who is rude and mean and stuff and kind of an outcast and she wants to learn magic or something. I kind of want to watch the movie. Kind of looks the trailer looks kind of good, but I think she's a great fit for Toph. I think she can look the role. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just googled, so I'm just seeing like her other like pictures of her from other works, and I was like, yeah, I sure makes sense. It's
Mhm.
it's it's still a little weird to think of Toph being older, but I don't know. It'll all depend on how they costume and present her.
Yes, and that brings me to a point of like apparently they're going to do a time skip, which I'm not sure about, but I would still like to see Toph portrayed as I think this I think the good thing about casting an actress who is probably who's like 17, probably anywhere from 15 to 17, is that she's not going to grow anymore. And if she can pull out the look of a 13-year-old girl, that's never going to change. Like she'll always, in the next, that's not going to change in the next 3 years.
I
She'll be
think
able to pull
that's
that off.
I think that's pretty
Uh,
reasonable.
yeah. So Toph in the show, in the animated show, is 12. If they do a time skip, she's probably like 14 or 15. I'm hoping that they don't make the character late teens or anything like that, like they said, because that's weird to me. That changes the dynamic of Toph. Can't be like a grown woman, Toph. Uh, 17 seems old to me for Toph. 14, 15, fine. If that's the same, that's probably the same around the same age that Aang would be if they do a time skip. I don't think a time skip is necessary, but again, that's another conversation.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't like it, but I just don't like it because the amount that I like the original show and the way that the narrative was originally told. So well, I'll try my best not to get too up in arms with it. I don't think I will mind if, let's say, 17-year-old Toph has like a more established secret persona life in the city or whatever, right? Like she's been doing it for years. I don't think I'll mind that. Like if like, instead of 12-year-old girl sneaking around town fighting people that I can't I don't know if I'm articulating myself well, but like she'll almost have a very well established like routine for years that she's living this second life out
Uh,
from underneath her parents, and I don't think I'll mind that. Like the idea of a 12-year-old girl like sneaking off and doing stuff in town is like she's 12. You should keep an eye on her. You should be better parents, but like a teenager sneaking out makes sense
but they're
to
not
me.
better parents. That's the
They're
thing,
not.
because they think so little, or they underestimate their daughter so much they don't think she's even capable of that. Also, I think I get your point. But I think a 17-year-old Toph. At that point, it's like screw you guys. I'm out of here. Like 12-year-old Toph was like that, so I don't think
Yeah, but
17-year-old Toph is gonna keep playing the charade of
what if she likes it
of
though? What if
innocent
she
children.
what if she likes like the I've got the pampered date like yeah, there's gonna be some conflict in there that drives her away from home. But what if she's like, yeah, I like the pampered daytime routine and then at night I go do my thing and like I don't know,
Uh,
the thrill of the double life.
mm, I
I don't know.
don't know.
I'll have to see it,
It's feeling
frankly.
more like yeah, I'd say. But all in all, good casting. The show. She out of all the cast, honestly, she might be the most experienced one out of all of them, which is good. Like we said before, the casting for Toph is gonna kind of make or break how how the season goes and how she portrays it. But
Especially like if
I've
you're a fan
only
on the fence, like if you left season one meh, not sure just yet, or like I guess I'll keep watching territory.
yeah.
Toph's probably your deal maker or breaker.
Oh yeah, definitely. I follow this one writer on Twitter who he's the writer of X-Men First Class, which I do love that film. Um,
That's a
where is
great
he
one.
at?
That's my. Let me think about this. That is my third favorite X Men movie.
There we go.
Yeah,
But he
third favorite.
wrote, it's probably my probably third favorite.
Hmm?
But he wrote one of the movies that she was in, and he said, congratulating her, that isn't that so Maya Ketch isn't just one of the most gifted actors I've ever worked with. She's also an absolutely superlative human being. I couldn't be more delighted to see her playing one of Atlas' most fun and iconic characters. And so that's like a person who's not related to this role at all, but they've worked with her before. Um, anyway, but yeah. So I don't have no notes really. I'm sure more casting will come out here soon. I'm glad that this casting wasn't spoiled. I feel like all the casting has been spoiled by like third party or just by bloggers and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's kind of I just enjoy when a casting announcement comes out. It is like 100%. That's what it is. No speculation.
I
So
kind of agree, and when it comes to entertainment, I kind of agree in general.
yeah.
Chris, adjacent topic, slightly adjacent. Giovanni likes Studio Ghibli movies quite a bit, and so I
Okay.
thought if we had a few minutes, which we're only 32 minutes in, although I am old and tired, but if what's your have we ever talked about your like ranking your Ghibli movies? Like if I'm telling, because Heather's not seen a lot of them, have we ever ranked Ghibli movies in the order they need to be watched? Might have to do
I
that.
haven't seen enough of them
Okay,
to give a proper ranking because I'm not like a huge Miyazaki fan. I respect him for his artistry. It's just that I don't know.
I've
Is
only I've only seen the big ones. Also, I think
yeah.
maybe we talked about
I
that
s-
before.
um I did really like Spirited Away, but
Mm-hmm.
that's like his biggest one probably.
Love the music from
Um
Spirited Away. Film
yeah.
itself, good.
Huh.
Princess Mononoke,
What's
I think, is my favorite.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I confused the two. I'm not a big fan. Spirited Away is love the same thing you
The
said.
soundtrack is
Love,
amazing.
yeah, love it. The movie itself, I'm like, all right, I guess.
Hmm?
I guess this has a beginning, middle, and end. And like, I don't know. I never need to watch that movie again. But Princess Mononoke, music absolutely great, and also just really love the movie itself. Like, it's just a great film, great characters, um, so freaking cinematic. I recently watched Kiki's Delivery Service. Like that, it was just like a little cute little film.
Hmm?
Like I mentioned before, it's like if Link, if you just did a video of it or did a movie of his side quests and stuff.
That's probably my
Um,
first one that I ever saw. I bet that was my first one.
hmm.
And
but
then I've
I don't
seen.
remember.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Howl's Moving Castle. I'm
Okay.
pretty confident. Like I'm pretty sure if I watched that one, I'd be like, oh yeah, I stumbled on this on a channel at some point when cable was a thing. Well, anyway, over the next few weeks, we'll probably be abusing your. They're all on Max.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
Max. To watch a bunch of Ghibli movies. Oh, and Ponyo. I've seen Ponyo, and on the Cliff by the Sea. It's not. It's of the ones we just named. It's probably my least favorite, and so I told them to. There was one night where we were recording, and they wanted to watch one, and I told them to watch that one. It's my least favorite of the group. No offense, Ponyo fans, just not me. It's still fine. It just wasn't for me. But well, hey, Chris, thanks for the news and the
I'm
updates.
glad. I'm glad there was some news today because I was kind of short on a topic. The topic I almost came up with, like, say if by the time that we were recording there was no announcement, was because I've been playing with the archery set, not playing,
Sure.
real
No,
thing.
playing.
Uh,
Playing is for children.
I was thinking to myself, what weapons would like the members of Team Avatar have if they
Okay.
actually had weapons?
Go
Um,
on.
but that could be another thing for another. I mean, preliminarily, I was thinking, even though I mentioned that um, that air nomads bow and arrows would be great, Aang would not use a bow and arrow. Aang would use a bow staff because and he has essentially a bow staff
Hmm?
because it is like the least
It is a
deadly.
weapon of de-escalation.
Yeah. Um, I think. Uh, oh man, what was Katara probably use a whip of some sort. Um, Toph, I think, would use a battle axe, like a
Awesome.
big, huge, like battle axe.
That's
And
awesome to think about.
while Zuko has the dual swords, but if Zuko didn't have that, I could see him using a bow and arrow, like fire arrows and stuff. Just visually, that'd be pretty cool. It'll have to have a metal bow because it'll just burn up. And then I didn't really get to Korra because I only thought about Korra's Team Avatar because Bolin would probably use like a hammer,
Bullet, big
similar to that.
hammer, Korra. Let me think through my D&D weapons real quick.
Oh, okay.
Korra. What about something slightly unique but still sort of athletically based, like a glaive or something like that? Like I still want the athletic presence to it, but
Hmm.
not just straight up like a sword. She'd have something
When I
with some
think
tact, some nuance.
when I think of athletic weapons, I always think of nunchucks because to me nunchucks takes like the most hand-eye coordination, takes the most.
But don't you think she'd have something that dealt like piercing damage in particular? Or do you think she'd go
Yes.
blunt
Nah,
force?
she'll go piercing.
I think she'd go
Um,
piercing. A
my initial
lightsaber. She
thought
would use a
was
lightsaber.
I was thinking more so weapons from like medieval
Oh,
to
sorry.
ancient
Right.
Japan and stuff. Um,
Weapon types.
I was thinking maybe dagger or a sai or what people would call uh, what's another word for sai? I think it's just dagger. What does Raphael use? I know sai is the right word, but there's another term
Ah,
for it. I
what
think
did? I'll have to let me Google
sai
it.
sai is like the correct term, but there's another term that people use.
Do Raphael use? Twin Psi.
Oh, maybe I just.
Uh, defensive truncheons, often mistaken for daggers.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I like where your head's at there because the thing about Sai or daggers is that she could also use her fists, which does feel somewhat Korra like. Like it would still allow her to be nimble,
Yeah,
and attacking with fists and feet. So I actually like where your
yeah.
head's at.
I always like when Raphael like spins them on his hand. Like he almost switches from defense to attack mode.
Yeah. And then you
It's
get
just
to
kind of
holster him,
cool.
which is super cool. Yeah, absolutely.
I just I just remember in TMNT movie where they get back to their house and they're like after after they went out onto the farm and stuff and they go back to their sewer house and they hear something and they're like there's someone in the closet and they go and then like they're all ready and stuff to attack them. It's just Danny, Danny the little teenage
The the
F boy.
miscreant,
Yeah,
the F
it's
boy.
like he, he's like, "Don't shoot, don't shoot," and Raphael's like, "I don't think it's loaded, kid." And then Raphael's so New York.
He has a very distinct Northeast flair to him.
Yeah,
What a what
I
a
need to rewatch TMT.
what a
I tell you
great
that I
movie.
bought.
What a tremendous movie.
No, I did tell you that I think I did that I bought TMT on VHS.
No, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I had the exact same box. I mean, there might have only been one box, but I had the same
I didn't play
box. And the second
man.
one was a primarily white box with black text outlined in green. I
No one
believe.
cares about that.
You shut your mouth. That's a fun movie, not a good one, a fun one, and that's fine.
I also bought a VCR DVD combo to watch it
Uh,
in case we're ever in a post-apocalyptic world where, like, for some reason Blu-rays don't work,
yeah.
and you gotta.
I mean, I almost did that. There was a nice one in Savers the other day, which is just like another Goodwill, like a local Goodwill or whatever. And I just thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool just to like if I found a random VHS to actually have something to do with it? And I told Heather,
Yeah.
and she just gave me like a half dirty look. And I was like, I guess not.
Mm.
It wasn't a full
No,
dirty look. It was a
like,
half dirty look.
I don't ask my wife for anything. I just buy stuff. If we're
That's
ever
fair.
in I say that's surrounded just by stuff like boxes that I haven't even opened yet. But
Yeah, understandable.
it's yeah, no, it's probably good that I just do whatever.
I thought you were gonna have like logic or reason for that, and then you didn't. You're just, it's probably better that I just do this. All right. If you say
Thing is,
so.
we don't we don't spend our money on much. Like, I mean, I probably spend how much do I spend a month on hobby stuff? I probably buy 3 action figures a month,
I feel like
maybe. So they're
something
like,
that distinguishes you and I particularly is I feel like we are generally cheap people, but we both have like a thing that we blow a lot of money on. Just mostly a one thing or some like one plus some adjacent, but it's mostly a thing. And that's where all of our fun money goes, for better or worse.
no. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't. I save money on other ways. I don't buy alcohol, even though I've drank more alcohol this past since I went on the cruise and that done in my whole life. Um,
Cruise wrecked you.
um, yeah. Although I've still never been drunk before. Um, uh, oh, I cut my own hair. That saves freaking like $50 every 2 weeks. That's $100 a week, kind of a month
Okay,
saving
for
there.
your hair, maybe I spend $20 at Great Clips every 3 months. I just hold up a picture. I'm like, "Is this in the notes?" And they look at the notes, like, "Yeah."
It's in the notes.
And then that's it. And then I get this haircut once every 3 months, and it costs me $25 after tip. Takes
No, for
20 minutes.
I always kind of do white people get an edge up, or you just let it go
There's
over?
there's yeah. I mean, you just kind of have to like if
I
you're
mean, do they actually edge it up, but then edge up your sides and stuff, or they're just like,
no,
eh.
because you would see the follicles on us, right? Like
Yeah, but see, that's why.
if you edge me, you would see those follicles.
Hmm, okay.
Whereas I don't think you probably have the same. So you can get a tighter, a truer cut then I can.
See, like a black haircut. First, it's just a simple haircut, right? Whatever it is on top, whatever you do. Then you pay. So that's one cost. Then you pay for the edge up.
Okay,
So you edge up
makes
all
sense.
that, and the beard. White dudes get beards edged up also. Um,
Yeah,
and then if you want to fade, that's extra on there. So it all granted, there's been a huge freaking um, inflation, which is in the cost of haircuts, which has nothing to do with any other type of inflation. I just think haircuts just cost more nowadays.
because
And I won't even
just
say it.
because
I won't
everything
even
else
say it.
costs more.
I'm not. I'm not. I weirdly think it has nothing to do with. I don't know why haircuts cost more, but they do, and I refuse to pay for for that on a consistent basis
That's
because
fair.
it's like the haircuts haven't changed. They've been, although they've changed slightly, and also to my annoyance. Like anyway,
Yeah,
going off on that.
I just long story short, there's no way to make my hair look good, so I walk into Great Clips because it's Great Clips. You check in online, right? So it'll show you like all the stores, and it's got like an ETA in minutes that you can wait. And I'm in the middle of like 18 stores because it's everybody makes fun of Starbucks. You know what people should make fun of is Great Clips. There's one on every corner. So I pick the one that
That's
the
fine.
wait is 1 minute, and I go in and I get it cut. 20 minutes later, I'm out. Different people every time, different
Oh
store
my
too.
gosh, Sean,
Uh,
it's annoying. It's annoying going to a black barber shop. It is really. You go in
well,
there,
it's an
and
experience, is what
then
it is.
well, I hate it. I might be every time I see like black dudes talking about going to black barbershop, they're like, "Oh man, it's like that's where you get the culture and stuff. That's the barbershop is where we, where a man be a man and like we hang out and so when we talk about this, talk about that. Like barbershop where you can be real. I hate going to barbershop. I hate it because
I,
I go in there, I go in there, and there might be a line of people, and then I'm like, they're like, "Oh, do you got an appointment or something?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "All right, you can get Nets." I don't know when Nets is. I could be waiting an hour. I could be waiting 30 minutes. I could be waiting 10 minutes. I don't know. There's no, and maybe it's gotten better since then. And then, and then I don't. I used to not know how to ask for like the right haircut and stuff, but I just, I just don't. I never. And I enjoy getting my hair cut, but I don't enjoy the experience of going to the barbershop.
so it's not that it is the white equivalent of a black barbershop. That's not what I'm trying to say. But Chris, are you familiar with scissors and scotch?
No, but sounds like a barbershop that you drink in.
But you can't drink in the barbershop. So it's basically just a barbershop and a bar that are adjacent and have doors that you can go through in between them. But in my mind, it's similar to. And listen, if you go there, that's fine. I've been there like 3 times uh, for various haircuts that turn out good. But basically, you go in there and you essentially get there 15 minutes early and you have a drink at a bar before you go get your haircut. And then like on the bar side, it's kind of like a sports bar, but it's like a mishmash of like there'll be a deer head mounted on the wall in a leather mahogany chair and sports on the TV, like man, and you just go there and you just drink a beer next to people that you don't know and you'll never see again, and then you get your hair cut, and it's like a not a big thing because I like it didn't hold my interest. In my mind, it's similar to that experience. Like, hey, it's an experience because no, it's a bar and there's other bars and home that you could also just drink the beer at home and just get your hair cut regular. I don't know. That's all three of my haircuts from there were delightful for whatever that's worth.
Oh, the last haircut I got from the barbershop, I went right before I went on the cruise, and it wasn't a great haircut. Honestly, I could have done better. Although my current haircut, I don't think it's a great haircut. It's not one of my worst ones. It's not one of my best. But also, it's free.
Yeah,
And that haircut I got plus tip was like $60, and And yeah, I felt like that was a waste of my time
I think
and
in
money.
Scissors and Scotch, you're looking 60 to 80, depending on how much. Because people go in there to get the beards and everything. That's what it
Yeah.
makes me think of. But well, hey, this has been barbershop talk with one guy who clearly never gets his hair cut and another guy who cuts his own. So we're the experts.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I knew we should have got the shenanigans out before we hit record. Thanks for watching
I
Avatar: The
mean,
Last Podcast.
whoever was listening, they stopped listening
I hope so.
when
I
we
hope
got
for their
to.
sake that they did. I hope when they start talking about Ghibli, they're just like, I'm not in a Ghibli mood today, and then that they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're still here, you're the person.
If you're still here, I'm sorry.
I'll I'll Venmo you a pity dollar. Send me your Venmo. I'll Venmo
No,
you some.
don't say that, because then this will be one of our highest views
This guy said
episode.
Venmo. Joke's on you. I don't even have Venmo. I'd have to download it and figure out what a
And then
Venmo is.
some lawyer guy would be like, clearly, evidence will say that that's a contract that they put into, that if you want your money back that you did not put in, you get your dollar.
The best
And
part is,
then
I didn't even say that they had to be here the whole time or that they had to comment or anything. They just had to hear that one sentence. That's it. I'm not giving you $1. I don't.
now I need a disclaimer. Chris Ford and Sean Shaler does not
does not
doesn't
have a Venmo. Doesn't know what $1 is.
and was not serious about that offer before.
I just feel bad for people, you know. I actually just watched the Friends I gave blood today, and
Hopefully I'm giving blood tomorrow. Hopefully my iron's good.
I tried I tried to do the platelets. This is the first time I ever did the platelets. So I was there like an hour and 3/4 almost,
Mm.
because they take the platelets and they put stuff back in you like some kind of.
Did you do the playlist or you did the double red bloods double? Because it's like the Alix machine. Well, I don't know. It might be a different.
apheresis machine. Does that sound right?
Uh,
So it was platelets, but it's that machine, and it
okay.
gave a triple, whatever a triple means. They said I had a lot of platelets, so they just kept taking more. So I was there for like an hour, 45 minutes. So I watched most of the original Total Recall, which is not a good movie. I'm a Judge Dredd person. New Total Recall may be better than old Total Recall. Also, Dredd too. Carl Urban was great in Dredd, and
Was.
and then I switched over to Friends, and it was the Halloween episode where Ross is dressed as a potato and Chandler's dressed as a rabbit, and Monica calls him weak, and they have an arm wrestling competition that takes him forever. And Ross thinks he's dressed like poo, or people keep telling that. Anyway, long story short, Rachel gets mad at a kid at her door for asking for money, and then tells him to shut up, and then he cries, and then she has to give him $50 to make him stop crying. It's a good episode. Anyway.
Have you done playlists before? I've never done playlists. I've just done the similar concept of it takes the blood out, and then the machine
Put stuff
separates whatever out of it, and it puts stuff it doesn't need back into you, and then that feels a little weird,
It's
and
cold.
it tastes like metally in your mouth, stuff like that.
Like a tingle something on my lips.
Yeah.
This is my first time on that machine. Usually I go in, I give whole blood. I drink tons of fluid. So usually when I go just do like a whole blood, like a single, and I'm in and out in 20, 25 minutes, something ludicrously fast, like top to bottom.
Yeah.
This one, I was like comfy under blankets, but cold feeling, also watching Total Recall, weirdly enough. And everybody thinks of the one scene where the mutant has an extra
Yes.
part. Right. Everybody thinks that. It is way less disturbing than the scene where Arnold meets Kuatu, who is just like an alien growing out of the other dude's stomach. Like, that's way more disturbing to me. Also, that plot really falls apart real quick. I love New Dredd, though. I'm gonna go watch New Dredd right now. I don't know why I equate those movies just to like old movies that people are like. You ever seen Total Recall or Dredd? Like
Yeah.
Stallone and Arnold movies that don't get talked about enough. Maybe that's why my brain connects them. But new ones might be better.
I was about to say something about blood or donation. Oh,
Go donate blood
I'm gonna try.
if you can.
Yes, donate blood. There's always.
You
I
literally
don't know. There's a
grow
lot.
blood while you sleep.
Yeah,
That's how good you are at
like
making blood.
it is the. If you can give blood, it's the least you could do. Like the blood will just, your body will just make it.
It just does more. It's pretty wild.
um, but I was gonna try and guess your blood type. Um,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Very
I think.
common in Japanese culture that they just know their blood types better than we do here. I don't know why.
For some reason, I think you're AB.
A positive.
Dang it.
You
Okay.
are. Yeah, you're A positive also.
Nah, I am O positive.
Ooh, fancy. That's nice.
That's such a genuine.
That's one of them. That's one of them fancy ones, right?
Yeah.
O positive.
Uh, yeah, it's the kind that I can donate to pretty much anybody,
But you can
but I can
only
you can
get.
only, yeah.
Chris, you have to stay in your basement and take extra care of yourself. You're too valuable as a battery for mankind, just like in the Matrix. Except instead of being a battery, we need your blood. We need you to grow blood for other people. That's what. I gotta be honest. I don't even remember if A positive, like what the demand level is or anything. But it's like it's just, somebody needs it.
It's all needed.
Yeah, it's useful. Yeah, go if you can stomach it. Go get blood. Is there a how am I trying to like obviously it's not the most convenient thing in the world, but like again, it doesn't cost you anything and you just grow it back while you sleep and they give you snacks. I get the little Dunkin'
True.
Donut coffee, the mocha flavored one, and a thing of Oreos every time I go. It's
Oh,
great.
go to a fancy place that gives you coffee. I don't even want the coffee, but Community Blood Center just
Yeah,
gives.
that's
I
where
mean,
I
you get
go.
all the Oreos and
That's where
Nutter
I go.
Butter. Oh, okay.
It's right here by Bass Pro over here. But the Dunkin' Donuts, the pre-bottled coffees and Oreos.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They're
okay, I
not like
got
great. They're fine.
you.
But anyway, and you get to watch TV while you use the aphoresis machine. You get to watch TV, and they give you
Yeah,
hot packs because it really does feel weird.
yeah. And oh man, I need that blanket too.
Yeah, it's
Every
not.
now when I donate, when I donate at work, they don't offer the blanket, and I'm like,
When I
um,
do it at work, they don't. I don't think they do the aphoresis machine. I think when they show up at our work, it's just like whole blood in and out. So I don't really do it at work. But anyway, I don't want to scare people. It doesn't hurt. It's less painful than whole blood. It's a
didn't
smaller
have another.
needle. What's that?
It's less painful than having a baby.
It is less
Um,
painful to have. No, it's less
I just watched
painful than
stuff.
whole blood because it's a smaller needle, right? And that makes a difference when you're in there for an hour and a half. It's cold, so it's a little awkward. Like it feels weird. Like there's colder fluid, room temperature fluid running through your veins. But they give you blankets and hot packs, and you watch TV, and you're fine.
Yeah, yeah. I only had one. Never mind. I won't scare anybody. I've never had any major. Only to be completely honest, only thing that ever hurt when I gave blood is that it was the double red blood cell, and so it wasn't just in my vein right enough, and so it took blood pretty well. But when it was trying to give back whatever it was giving back, it was just like it wasn't going in a vein; it was just going in my arm.
Oh, okay,
But they noticed it pretty quickly.
real
Like I
quick.
said, I've given blood maybe 50 or so times, somewhere around there. And that's only happened one time. Typically, that doesn't happen, but it didn't. I mean, it bruised a little bit because there was I say foreign
Literal
object. Like
fluid
yeah, just
hanging out.
fluid in my there. So that's the worst that's happened with me for giving blood. But I was perfectly fine.
I'm
Just
I'm not.
just bruised a
Yeah,
little bit.
I'm not near your numbers, so my sample size is smaller. But I got big veins. I drink tons of fluid. I've nothing, not a thing. Very fortunate so far. I got my veins in my elbows are like, I think I could do it myself. Like if they gave me the little straw to make the little circle, And I could probably do it myself, but I'm not going to.
Mine's aren't great. They used to be when I was skinny Chris, but I'm back to fat Chris.
That was Payless basketball, Chris. That was peak veins right there.
I was, man, I had a vein on my arm that I always saw. Like, oh man, I'm in freaking shape. But the vein in my elbow, as long it always pops out whenever they do the
yeah.
But
yeah, I think only once did I even have to like the first stick just wasn't great, and so they moved to a different vein. So I had like an extra stick. That's as bad as I got. But anyway, get blood if you can. If you've never tried it before, consult and then try it. It's great. It's very helpful. Platelets, which Chris, maybe we're saying the same thing. Platelets, is that red blood cells? Is that what?
platelet. Oh wait.
I feel like we're probably saying the same. It's the same machine. We're describing the same thing.
There's single. There's just regular whole blood. Then,
which is the normal one. You go in, you give a pint, you leave. You give about 10% of your blood, and you leave. They don't put anything back in you. That's the normal.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same thing because it sounds like we're talking. There's probably then platelets / double red blood. I don't know, something like that. And then below that is plasma. Like there's only 3 things.
And the plasma is where they'll give you money for plasma, which I don't know why this is different. They'll give you money for plasma, but plasma is literally white blood cells. And so if you do not take care of yourself and you give plasma for money, you'll make yourself more vulnerable. So you got to be careful. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should do it.
Yeah.
But it's literally your white blood cells, so you gotta like treat yourself good when you give plasma a bunch. And then
there are some places
that's the one where they
that
put
will
the rest back in. That's not even a solution that they're putting back in. They're giving you the rest of your blood back. Like it's not a solution. It's your own blood. They're just like stripping out the plasma and putting the rest back in.
I think so.
Whereas what we're describing is a different saline solution.
Yeah. But hopefully I can give blood tomorrow. Sometimes I can't if my iron isn't right. It's not that I have low iron. It's just not in the right range or stuff like that.
Not this time, but last time my pulse was really low, which I'm always on the lower end for whatever reason. But it was really low, like it was below their threshold, and they had to like get approval from like the manager, and they're like, "Do you work out a lot?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." Like, what do you do? A lot of cardio? I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I jog about a mile a day. Maybe 4 or 5 days a week with my dog." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." We just like, you're good. Okay, good. Thank you. But they call it like an athletic pulse or whatever they say sounds like weirdly flattering. And so I went home and I told him, "That's like I have an athletic pulse." Probably don't see many of those. Sorry, that's only a joke because if you go into the building and you get blood, it is mostly retired people in there because
it is a lot of old people.
So in my head, that was really funny. Out loud, that didn't make sense until just now. It's time to go to bed. This has been Avatar: The Last Podcasters. My name's Shawn. That's Chris Ford. Archery / blood giving / what was the other thing we talked about? Expert. This is the other weird thing.
I have no idea.
I don't remember either.
Self-barber? I don't know.
Black barbershop expert / archery expert / blood giving expert Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek. If you can like, subscribe, hit bells, leave positive reviews, comment, whatever positive interactions you're willing to share would be great. We appreciate them all. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.